we are going to cover about pandas and data frames. Okay, so what all manipulations we can do, what all functions are available, and how you can do it on your own without even doing a Google. Okay, even if you are doing it for the first time, I'll tell you how to see what are the functionalities available, what all parameters you can use without even opening a new browser. So why I am saying browser and browser again is because our intention is to make sure that you know everything that is provided by the Jupyter Notebook itself, and that if you are new to this, you can find every information within the same page, because every time you open a new tab, our focus is getting diverted. So that is one of the main reason that if you want to continue with our work, we should make use of everything that is given to us. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you that if you have seen the previous videos, then it is good. Otherwise, just go and visit all those previous videos and then continue. So first thing, in any language, we try to import all the libraries that we want to use, and everything that we are executing is one cell in which we can write one or multiple things. Okay, so first thing, I'll import this, and if you try to execute this and you get like there is no such module as NumPy, or there is no such module as Panda, so what you can do is, okay, let me create one more cell, and you can try this command. Okay, pip install whatever module is not found, error that you are getting. Suppose pandas is no module named pandas is what error you are getting. So you will simply do pip install pandas. So this command you will write in the command prompt, but if you want to execute in the notebook itself, you need to add exclamation mark. Okay, so this is the command that you are going to write, and you need to execute using shift enter. Okay, so star means it is executing. Once a star is gone, it means you are done. So to execute this, we are using shift enter. Shift enter means that will be executed and it will go to the next line. But if I try to click on alt enter, so what it does is it executes and creates a new cell. So that's the difference between shift enter and alt enter. So and if I want to comment it, right, I don't want to use this, so I can simply put hash, or if I am like, suppose I have multiple lines of code A B C D, so whatever lines I want to comment, I'll select those and I'll simply write control question mark. Okay, so as soon as we get into and we try to see execute or explore more, I'll let you know about more shortcuts, but this is for now. Okay, so let me remove this scissor cut. Okay, I hope now based on this, like throughout the code, we are going to use only these two libraries. So if you have not, you can install using this command. So yeah, so for now let me give you one okay, so first thing that we are going to do is today read. So if you can see, we are going to read some CSV, and if you have a file and if you try to read and you don't get it, okay, so for that first you need to see in which directory you are. Okay, so for that I am using a command called pwd, which means print working directly, and for execution shift enter. So you can see I am in this. Okay, so you need to make sure that the file that you have is in this path, or when you are reading you can choose that path. Okay, so let me write my path, for example, parent folder, okay, child folder, anything of that sort. Okay, and I can write here D drive, like wherever your path is. Okay, this will work fine for most of the operating systems and even for Windows, but if this gives some kind of error, you can write R. Okay, so this will work for sure, but since my CSV file is in the same directory where my, like you can see, print working directory, so my notebook is also here in the same thing, and my file is also saved, so it will search for the relative path. So it will search whether the example1.csv is there in this directory or not. So that's how we are going to fetch it. Okay, so that was our print working directory. Now next, right, we have imported pandas as PD. So as means alias name. So it's like instead of writing pandas everywhere, I have given an alias name and I'm going to use it. Okay, PD, right, like that. Okay, so for that, like if you don't know, you are using it for the first time, so PD dot what should I write? So in that case, what you will do is you will simply say PD dot, and now if you try to click on tab, Okay, if tab is not working, let's try shift tab. Now read, I didn't execute this, I guess. Shift enter, and now let me try to click on tab. Yeah, so I need to make sure that PD is recognized by the notebook, and then so when to use tab, when to use shift tab, that we'll see in a moment. But as you can see, we have like for read option we have read CSV, read Excel, read Feather, HTML, JSON, pickle. So pickle is a bytecode, SQL is a database queries, okay, and then read table option. So you can see you have multiple formats to read and multiple destinations to read. For now we are going to use CSV, and we are going to see what are the various parameters available in those. So based on that, it is not about, if you're listening, 1 second. So if you are listening to this functionalities for 5 minutes carefully, you can apply it for any other functions. So it will like amount of time required on understanding or learning any new thing will be reduced drastically. So I'll try shift tab. 1 second, tab. Okay, so here I'm trying to read from read CSV. Okay, and I'll open my function. Now here I have to give some of the other parameters, and because I'm trying to read it, definitely we know that we need to give a file name. That is clear, right? So let me open my Excel sheet. 1 second, here you go. Okay, so in this I have written in such a way that we could cover all concepts. So like I have given some empty values, okay, and I've used some different data types like string and numericals, okay, and make sure I've given the header values. So we are going to manipulate all these things. So this is, if you want to take screenshot you can take. So this is what we are going to manipulate in our Jupyter notebook. So if you can see, I am now inside the function, so I know file path needs to be given, so I'll give that, no problem, example1.csv. but is there any other attributes that could be helpful for me even now or in future? For that I will type shift tab. Okay, so in shift tab you can see there is something signature. So signature means a function name followed by what are the arguments that it expect. So in that some may be mandatory, some may be non-mandatory. It's like non-mandatory means there will be some default values that it will consider. So if we want to make use of it, we need to mention the parameter name followed by its value. So if I click on plus, it will be maximized and I can see. So if let me zoom in a bit. I hope now it is visible. Okay, yeah, now it's clear. So you can see there is something called SCP. So SCP means separator. So what's the difference between read CSV, read TSV, that is tab separated values, and read Excel? So it's like there will be some different symbols between different columns. Okay, in CSV two attributes are separated by comma, so we call it as a comma separated value. In TSV we have tab separated values. So similarly SCP, since I am reading CSV, okay, CSV means by default it will take a default value comma. Okay, similarly if I try to read TSV, okay, so in this case if I go and type shift tab, let me come to end, shift tab, is it not working? Okay, let me write read CSV Excel. Okay, let me try with Excel. Okay, so if I go and type shift tab, here you can see my separator will be something else, or is it not there? Okay, maybe the Excel doesn't require a separator, but okay, let us try one more thing, if there is a separator or not. Tab, read CSV, HTML, no. Okay, let me try with this shift. I'll go inside that, I'll try type shift tab. So you can see read table is using /t. So it's like if I'm using CSV with the read CSV function also I can use a read table. So what I am trying to say is there will be some default values, and if you want to modify it you can modify it, which is like we are making use of the parameters available to us. So the default value of CSV is comma, because it is a comma separated value. So I'll simply use this. So why I said that, because if suppose that PDF format is not available for us, so we can see by what separator can I make sure that I can I could be able to read that. Okay, so let me try to execute this. So you can see I am able to read everything that is there in this. Okay, so it is column, and this 0 1 2 3 4, this was not there in Excel sheet, so this index we are able to get. Okay, so here I have executed and I have stored it in the data frame called df. Why I am calling it a data frame? Because if I try to print, okay, let me try this print. I want to know the data type of this, so for that I am going to write type of df. Okay, so you can see it is a data frame. So the object which is returned to us by the pandas.read functionality is called data frame. So and I have one more thing to do. So if you want to know all the functions, you don't want to know about a function, but you want to know all the functions available to you, you can also write print dir and then your library. So you can see you have categorical, index, slice, series. So you can use all these functionalities, and when you are using one of them, for suppose you are trying to use pd.categorical. Okay, so how it came, I write cat and I try to click on tab. Now I'll tab, why isn't it working? Shift tab, no, pd.categorical, and then I'm into the function. I'll click on shift tab. You can see in this categorical I need to provide some values, and categories if I want to provide I can provide, if I don't want. Okay, so this is I'm seeing for the first time. So what does categories actually means? Okay, so then I can scroll down a bit and I can see categories, what does it mean, and then I can see down below about the documentation of each parameter, and I can also see the example, I guess. You see, you can see the examples as well. So this is how you are trying to understand the functions availabilities and its parameter and example, everything, without moving anywhere apart from, like, you are inside your notebook and you are trying to explore as much as possible. Okay, so this was about dir and categorical, and let's now get back to this. Okay, so here if I am trying to read this, you can see I have a column name and this. Okay, so I want to try all the other functionalities as well. So this video will try to explore, and in the next video we'll try to manipulate all. Okay, so I want to try some more parameters. So if I go to this, let me see, I have something called header. Okay, I have something called engine. So what all values we can use? Let me see here. Okay, so let me try to copy this complete value. Okay, copy this complete value, and I'll go to my notepad. Okay, and let me try to save it with a tab, and then we'll try to read it. Okay, so this is my notepad. I'll try to save it here. You can see now I'll try to replace file, replace. Okay, let me pause and replace. Okay, let it be tab only. So because I have copied it directly instead of reading it notepad, the CSV file is coming with this kind of tab. Okay, let me save this. Control C. I'll try to save here. Okay, and I'll write ex2.tsv. okay, save, and let me try to read this here. Okay, ex2.tsv. so I am not mentioning any delimiter. Let me try to read. You can see that it was searching for a comma so that it can assign it to the next column. So you can see this complete value is assigned to column 1 only, but not column 2. So this slash t is considered as a part of the value. So for reading it correctly, I will mention that separator is nothing but slash t. Slash t is nothing but tab space. So now you can see we are reading it correctly. So yeah, that was about reading, and you can further dig down. So that's up to you, like if you want to. Okay, so here one more thing, it is considering whatever the first value as column. So if I say header, okay, is equal to false, now I am saying that whatever you are trying to read in that header is not there. So in that case, if I try to read, what happened, 1 second. Okay, so I have kept false, and it is saying, giving me an error saying that passing a bool to header is invalid, use header is equal to none for no header. So I will write none. Okay, now let's try to read. So you can see that col1, col2, that columns2 are treated as a regular record. Okay, so these things, okay, let me show you. So each row is a record. Okay, and these each column names we call it as an attribute or parameter. Okay, and if you can see this 1 2 3 4 5 6, all these are called a row index, or you can call it with yeah, row index will be fine. And also we call this complete row as a tuple or record. Again, the tuple will be not Python tuple. So for now, if I select this, it has been selected as A2. And if you want to know more about how to read each of the values, like suppose I want to access only this much value, you can go to previous video where I have shown about the indexing and all. So yeah, so that was about how we are going to read and everything. Now suppose I have read this and I have kept that object in my df, in an object that I created, which is df. And now we'll have multiple functions. So let me try to create one more cell here, and I'll click on df and then tab. So all these functions are available for a data frame. Okay, all this we can apply on the data that we have read already. Okay, now as I'm going to show some of those, but you can try others as well. Okay, so if we see df tail is nothing but tail, what does it say? Tail is nothing but the last of something. So here, if suppose I have 5, but I want to read only, like in the real time we'll have thousands and lakhs of rows, right? Rows means record, so we'll use the record term from now onwards. Okay, so if I say give me the tail, so if I click on shift tab, you can see the default parameter is 5. So 5 means that we are asking that fetch me the last 5 record. But if I want to use suppose last 10 records, I can use that as well. But here you can see I have total of 5 records, so it is not giving me an exception, but based on its understanding it is giving me all the available records out of the last 10. But if I want to fetch only 1, I can do that as well, or only 2. You can see I'll shift enter. So if you have not observed, let me execute this again. So before that, this was the last 5 record. Okay, so you can see the last records are nan and 100 nan. So let me try to fetch the last record and I'll get the last one. So now you can see this is the 100 nan and 100. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now if you can see, if I click on shift tab, here only one parameter is there and the parameter name is n. So if I am not writing n, how it is recognizing? Okay, so how that goes is, suppose here we have 100 parameters. Okay, here we have 100 parameters, and if I want to use this parameter, okay, so how I am going to use it? Okay, so because I want to use something which is not in sequence, I'll simply write that parameter. Okay, and then I'll write value. But if you can see, for this I didn't mention any parameter name, but I simply sent a value. So this is the parameter name, this is its value, but here I have only passed value but not parameter. So how that works? So if I click on shift tab, you can see the first parameter is file path. So if I don't give the name, the values will be assigned in the sequence. Okay, so here I have given a separator is equal to this, but if I don't give this, if I don't write the key, and if I can see the second parameter is SCP, so whatever value that I'm going to give will be assigned to the second parameter. So I hope you are getting me right. But if I want to use header, okay, if I write none, that will be assigned to delimiter. That's why since my intention was to use the fourth parameter without using the third parameter, so that's why I need to write name. I hope this is clear when to write parameter name and when not, but if it is recommended that you use parameter name for everything. Okay, yeah, so here even if I don't mention, it will be assigned to n, but if I want to mention, I can mention that as well. Okay, similarly we have head. So again, let's see what are the parameters available. Shift tab, you can see n is available. So I'll say I want only the first 3 rows. Okay, so what is happening, it is getting me the first 3 rows. If you can see, my total data set was this. Okay, so this complete data frame is my data set. Okay, so first, okay, this is not I have stored, this was just an example. Okay, so I am storing this content in my data frame. Header is equal to none, I am not using, I am using this. Okay, so here my first 3 records will be 1, 5, 9. Okay, so you can see that is what I fetched. I think we are already done with 20 minutes. So I hope you know how to read some functionalities and how to read all the parameters and what all things you need to use. So today's class was just about getting to know what are all available to you and how to install the libraries, how to import, okay, and what are those alias things. So you can try various other terminal commands as well, but the way that this Jupyter notebook is executing is different. So that's why you can see in the normal thing we write only this much, like without the exclamation mark, but to execute that we are using exclamation in the Jupyter. So the commands will remain most of the thing as same, but again it depends on what kind of operating system we are using, and even if the commands are matching there will be a slight change. So it's like if you are aware of the commands you can simply execute this by doing a small changes in this commands. So this is useful if you are familiar with already, if you are familiar, because there is not much of the commands that we are going to use. But yeah, I hope this much is clear, and if you have any queries with regarding to imports or with regards to running and all, so I can clear that. You can write down in the comment section. And yeah, before leaving, one more thing, I will create one more cell and I want to write hi all. Okay, this is not my code. Okay, this is like I want to show some demonstration. So what I'll do is I'll say that it is not a code, it is a markdown, and I'll try to execute this. So you can see its format is changed. Similarly, I can write heading and I can say this is not a code, this is a heading. So you can see if I by default heading once means single hash. If I want to say that this is a heading to double hash. Similarly, I can use 3 hash, 4 hash. Let me try. I didn't try that. Okay, let me try this heading 2. Okay, space should be there. Similarly, 3 hash. Let me try this. Okay, it is working. Heading 3. So like that, if I execute, you can see. Okay, this kind of formattings we can do. And let me create one more cell. And let me try this row and basic convert. This is not doing anything, but okay, yeah, you can explore that. But I hope this much is clear, and you can have your formulas, you can have images, so everything that you need to the related context with the kind of coding that you are doing, you can keep it here only. So our intention is to not go anywhere else when you are doing some kind of progress. Okay, so we'll continue with this notebook. As of now, whatever topics we are covered, if you have any queries with respect to that, please write down in the comment section. So yeah, that's it for now. Thank you.